Hey everyone, it's devlog time and we reached the 7th episode following the progress of my indie game, which is a top-down shoot 'em up that I'm coding in Swift on top of the sprite kit and gameplay kit frameworks. I've done quite a few things since the last episode. Most obvious, that is hard to not notice I guess, is of course that I've done a refresh pass on the placeholder graphics. It's still placeholding graphics, but I've been exploring some workflows, how I'll handle making the final graphics for the game. And also, I've started working on a script to build the asset catalog from my graphic source assets, which I'm using Node for. More on that later. So anyway, the new graphics is not representable for what the final game will look like, but just further explorations of techniques that I will use. With more placeholder graphics to work with, I have now coded a system for the background graphics that handles loading of level tiles on a separate thread as the player progresses through the level, as well as deallocating graphics no longer needed to keep in memory. And as with everything I do from now on and going forward, the code is shared with the level editor, so the editor stays in sync visually with the actual game. Most of the time, though, has went into figuring out how I want to handle the logic to keep the gameplay fair and consistent between devices with different aspect ratios and resolutions, without having to resort to do any formal letterboxing. My goal has been that it shouldn't really matter if you play the game on a 5-inch iPhone or on an Apple TV hooked up to a 42-inch display. The gameplay experience should be the same, and the game should look great in both those cases. So, after many back and forths, I'm now finally very happy with the solution I've settled on. It was a lot of back and forth though, but basically I'm now working with the base size of the game in a 16:9 aspect ratio. And then I'm creating additional width for the background assets to fill out wider screens, like the iPhone 11. In that additional space, no important gameplay action will ever occur. So basically it's just visual candy. The iPad, on the other hand, with its 4:3 aspect ratio, I handle differently by letting the player have additional space at the bottom of the screen. In the level editor, I placed a few rough overlay guides for the different aspect ratios to help me place entities so they will be within the safe area for all supported devices. I wrote quite a long blog post on my solution with further examples and illustrations, so please check that one out for more info. I'll put the link in the video details. When it comes to resolution for the assets that I'm going to use in the game, I am resorting to a plain old spreadsheet to help me quickly calculate what resolutions I need to export for each asset to get the optimal size for different targets. So, quick note, but do not underestimate the power of these basic tools. Well, that concludes what I've been up to regarding the game during the last 2 weeks or so. Next, I'm going to dive deeper into entity behavior and upgrade all the current existing entities in the game with more interesting components for logical and visual behavior. And probably, or certainly, I'm going to add a few new ones, which should be fun. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check out my blog, where I'm writing more in-depth articles with code examples. And you can also follow me or reach out to me on Twitter. Links are in the video description. May the source be with you. See you next time.